Good afternoon. Welcome to my major projects presentation. Over the next hour, I'm going to tell you about myself, an overview on my project, 5 trends for the next 5 years for the advertising, marketing, and branding industry. I will make some recommendations for practitioners to exploit the opportunities and avoid the problems of one or more identified themes. Finally, I'll provide you with my most important takeaway from my MA studies. First of all, I think it's important that you start off with who I am. My name is Toby Joseph Johnson. I'm an aspiring account manager currently working as a student experience officer for the University of Plymouth International College, where I happen to be right now. At UPIC, I've worked over a variety of different roles from finance, marketing, and currently in student support. No day is the same working for this business unit. I could be working on a campaign 1 minute to participating in a virtual tour of Plymouth for some prospective students the next. This has further enhanced my drive to work in the advertising world as I enjoy a bit of variety. "2020 might go down as the worst year for businesses in the last decade, one that has sadly made many businesses close their doors forever. Despite the economic crisis, social unrest, a global pandemic, and massive travel restrictions, some brands have not only managed to stay alive, but thrive." This takes me on to the 5 trends for the future of marketing in 2021. Now, first of all, I think we should start with live video. Now, this is nowhere surprising. Video is the future, and it's not going to be any different in 2021. Even if you're not a video person, thanks to the global pandemic, mandated stay-at-home orders, and social distancing, video communications such as Zoom, TikTok, Instagram Reels. As a business, it is very important that you're following the best practices for live audio captioning quality to further accelerate the growth of your live audience and keep them around longer. The video live streaming industry has increased by 99% in 2020. If you take away any statistic from this blog post, this one should be it. It's worth noting that this statistic is noteworthy for a few reasons, but primarily it suggests that live streaming growth was a trend prior to the global health crisis. The next reason is video streaming. The industry will be worth $184 billion by 2027. The increased supply of live stream content, video content, has resulted in an increased audience size, an increased investment opportunity from advertisers and sponsors, and an increased interest in improving the live streaming process from tech entrepreneurs and software designers looking to disrupt the industry. 67% of live viewers are likely to buy a ticket of an event. That's amazing. If you're able to hold on to this next year attendee return rate of 67%, companies and event specialists can use live streaming to significantly grow their audience. 80% of consumers prefer live videos to blog posts. 3 reasons for this, obviously. They're immediate, it's less work for marketers, which saves time to go on to other more important things. Video can provide more context of the scenario and the situation. More than 50% of students have attended school virtually in the fall of 2020. Working as a student experience officer currently, I know that for a fact. Most of all our courses are done online, and our students have actually benefited from this video, live video, because they can go back to those recorded sessions and watch the lectures that they have missed in the past. So you can see the advantage to moving online. The next trend we're talking about is audio content. By audio content, I think it's important to just give you an idea that it's not just podcasts which make information personal. It's convenient and easy to consume. It cut costs delivered digitally. They eliminate many costs associated with other forms of communication, including printing and paper. It's time efficient form of communication, portable on-demand technology. Led by Amazon, growth in smart speaker ownership has been significant. The number of percentage of Americans who have ever listened to a podcast has increased over the last 4 years. Clubhouse, which is audio, is an invitation-only social media app for iOS and Android, where users can communicate in voice chat rooms that accommodate groups of thousands of people. The audio-only app hosts live discussions with opportunities to participate through speaking and listening. Whoever creates the room has control speaking privileges and topic, and everyone can come in and out as they please. The jury's still out whether Clubhouse will shake up the marketing world, but stand by, I will be keeping a close eye on this one. So whether you're a podcast listener, a Clubhouse pro, audio content cannot be ignored in 2021. Another important thing to mention is that each week more Americans listen to podcasts than have Netflix accounts. I mean, that's crazy when you think about it. Alexa, that most of us have in our household, led by Amazon, the growth in smart speaker ownership has been significant. Smart speaker ownership overall increased by 22% between 2020 and 2021. This increase in smart speakers is giving owners more opportunities to listen to podcasts at home. As the pandemic continues, sales for at-home entertainment devices like smart speakers increased from last year. The next trend, and this is no surprise with the amount of influencers we have, are user-generated content. This is not necessarily very new. More businesses are turning to social media more than ever before, not in the typical paid ad kind of way that you're used to seeing. Today, user-generated content is more powerful than every marketer needs to have in their arsenal. Let's take a look at these amazing user-generated statistics to see why you'll want to take advantage of UGC. Ads based on user-generated content receive 4 times higher click-through rates and 50% drop in cost per click compared to average ads. More than half of consumers wish their brands would tell them what type of content they wish to create. Every story matters. Tell us yours. As you can see from below, different people are giving you their perceptions from the healthcare department of what they've experienced. It's more relatable. User-generated content is basically the best word-of-mouth marketing strategy a business could implement. This is because the core fact that people trust other people, because people don't tend to trust the brand themselves. Here we can see Generation Z and UGC, user-generated content. So we have the influencers of the world. And we also have the millennial consumers and content generation. So, for example, what's your favorite cheese? Everybody loves cheese, don't they? Boosted conversions. We've seen that there's a 92% trust in UGC, and we've also seen 50%, brands saw over 50% conversion rate for visitors to pages featuring UGC. And obviously this has had a positive effect on the revenue. 50% in sales increase and $72,000 saved annually. Another trend that is very important, I believe, in 2021 is brand activism. Brand activism consists of business efforts to promote, impede, or direct social, political, economic, and/or environmental reform, or stasis, with the desire to promote or impede improvements in society. In the day and age of a conscious consumer, brands have no choice but to step up, speak up, and take responsibility, or they may miss out on a generation of consumers. Here we can see a graph that gives us what marketing driven, so cause promotion, cause related marketing, then move on to the corporate driven, so corporate philanthropy, workforce volunteering, socially responsible business practices, and eventually on to brand activism. We can see that it could be both regressive or progressive. And we all know about the Black Lives Movement couple last year. Activism moves the PR machine. As Adam Fletcher points out in Fast Company, there are lots of organizations that desire to emulate the Black Lives Movement or support it. People expect brands to fill the gap. By choosing brands that align with their values, shoppers are voting with their wallets for the kind of businesses they want in the world and paving the way towards a more sustainable and just economy. We're in an unfortunate time where governments and institutions provide less and less moral leadership, and now we must expect to see it from the brands we buy. As we can see here, business as a force for good. So we can see the brand activism seems as a justice, the cause marketing is the advocacy, CSR is a good citizen, and the purpose is the mission. So we would just want to be right there in the middle between those three circles, between consumer needs, sustainable behaviors, and the brand equity. The final trend, I feel, for in marketing, for digital marketing, is branded content. Now this goes back to the marketing principle where people don't want to feel like they are being sold something. They want value, they want entertainment, they want an experience. That's exactly what well done branded content does. Delivers an enjoyable experience for the customer without force feeding them the advert. Times have changed and branded content is in. The best branded content out there are the ones that subconsciously sell you products without the customer realizing what is happening. For example, we can see the Real Beauty sketches and Show Us Project by Dove in the image below. We can also see video streaming here on this ad and how this is branded content. Branded content is 22 times more engaging than display ads. The goal of the branded video was to prevent the vision of beauty where no woman or girl are excluded. If you check Show Us hashtag on social media, you will see that branded content campaign resonated well with the target audience. In 2019, Dove started a new marketing campaign to shatter beauty stereotypes. According to statistics, 70% of women still don't feel represented in media and advertising. And this leads us on to this slide. Viewers react more positively to branded video content than regular commercials. Over here, we're talking about the Lego movie. It subconsciously sells you the product without you realizing. It's not only until the end of the movie that you realize that, oh, actually, it's a little kid playing with all these toys, and then you're fascinated, and suddenly you start buying the product. That is what branded content is all about. Thank you for listening to my 5 trends in digital marketing in 2021. As I have now outlined the 5 themes or 5 trends for the next 5 years for the advertising, marketing, and branding industry, I think it's also important for me to make recommendations for practitioners to exploit the opportunities and possibly avoid the problems of one of or more of the identified themes. In this scenario, I've considered a case study that I have worked on myself at the University of Plymouth International College. So just to give you some background information, they are an international education provider located in the southwest of the UK, known as Britain's Ocean City. It's a sustainable and environmentally friendly university with a desire to grow and with not a lot of international exposure, as you can imagine. Most international students, i.e. the target market, come from overseas and are more familiar with institutions around London and other major cities in the UK. To do this, I thought I'd show you the video that we've produced, live video that we've used on various of our social channels, and yeah, have a look. This video was definitely my pride and joy. Right from the idea to creating the brief to organizing the team who would be involved in the production of this video, the photographer, the videographer, the editing team, the actual participants who have also gone on to create user-generated content around the university using our Unibuddies account, talking about their experiences has been fantastic. The video has been advertised on various social media platforms, even used by the actual university, not also the partner college that I work for. It's enabled us to increase web traffic. It's significantly increased the email views and clicks. We've had 5 times the amount of increase in social reach, traffic, and engagement. And it's also been our best resulting campaign for 2021, which has also resulted in an increase in the amount of conversions and lead generations. So great return on investment. And it's fantastic because we were able to do this in-house at the college as opposed to using a marketing agency. So I would absolutely recommend, using the use of video. I feel like it engages users and our target market. And it also is one of the best trends I feel for 2021. The other recommendations I would make is if you used an agency, you might be able to get a more in-depth understanding of your customer's journey and what motivates them to actually convert. An agency could probably help you physically store and boost the number of visits to your site. An agency might even give you the visibility in Google search rankings and find more ways to reach your audience through maybe new channels. Because, for example, we don't use TikTok, but I know quite a few of our target market do. If you don't have the bandwidth to handle internet and marketing campaigns in-house, like I said, marketing agency could be the best way of bringing experts to work on your business at a fraction of the time and maybe, possibly spending less as well. So yes, that's my take from the case study point of view. So you want me to decide and tell you how I intend to use my major project for my own career progression and future in this industry. Like I mentioned before, I'm a student experience officer working within the educational industry. My major projects has been a research into Chinese students and how they use e-word of mouth in making that decision to select universities in the UK. How I want to use that is all the research I've done has helped me in advancing 3 major skills. It's given me more information around international student recruitment. It's allowed me to understand the power of an interview, and it's also upped my creative skills. So I'll just go into these for a little bit. My current interest in student recruitment. So I have always recruited students from West Africa predominantly, but doing this actual case study from a Chinese student point of view has given me a completely different insight to another different demographic. So it's actually advanced my knowledge within the entry requirements for students coming from those regions. It's also allowed me to understand the culture aspect. What do Chinese students like when they're picking up a university? Is it just the rankings? Is it the research that university does, or is it the actual location? Is it the fact that there's a home away from a home? So those are different factors that I've picked up, and I'm sure you will see as you read through my projects. The other thing is the interview, the power of an interview. Like you're in this presentation with me, you can see how I'm engaging, how I'm looking you within the camera, how I'm distracting you with my hands and trying to get you to pay attention to what I'm talking about. I think it's very important. I think the power of interview is really understated, and you get to feel you get a feeling of what the person is really about. And doing these interviews, asking the potential respondents all those questions were really crucial in me getting all the information out. And obviously the creative side. I've shown you different elements throughout this actual presentation. I've sat down at my actual desk talking to you, giving you an introduction of what I'm about and where I'm from. I've also gone through different software to actually narrate you through the different trends I feel are in marketing over the next few years. So my intended career progression, as I mentioned before, is to become an account manager. Account managers not only handle clients, but they also handle the actual team. So collecting the brief from the clients, understanding what the client actually wants, and then going back to the team and giving that kind of management of where we're going and how long the intended project is going to take. So there's a lot of time management. There's a lot of multitasking involved, and ultimately you got to keep both parties very happy. So you've got to be on point. You've got to be able to build relationships, and I think that's what I'm about, and I think that's what this MA in advertising strategy has given me over the last few months. An overview of my intended career progression. I started off as a student services officer many years ago within Navitas. Within this role, I was looking after international students, helping them integrate into the society, helping them with bank letters, almost being a bigger brother, a bigger figure within Plymouth University International College. Over those 3 years as a student experience officer, which included 9 intakes, prior to an intake, the team and I had to update pre-departure information, pre-enrollment forms, update our websites for students just arriving in the country. This really increased my passion towards marketing and the advertising world. During my role here within Navitas, I got a slight promotion to a marketing officer, and I was tasked with creating copy for flyers, pre-departure guides, and updating the brochure as well as the website. I participated in the construction of various e-campaigns, which were used by members of the team who were in charge of different markets. I coordinated the logistics for various inbound and outbound educational fairs, itineraries for inbound agents. It was a really interesting role. I have led and managed the provision of services to students, associated customers, and stakeholders, coordinating and administrating all of the key aspects of the student lifecycle with regards to reporting and compliance. I provide a highly responsive and proactive customer service, implementing effective student retention and event cycles through internal marketing and the use of social media. I have managed various CRM systems for communications with students and undertaking day-to-day liaison with agents, past, present, and future students through the college's official social media pages and group to aid student recruitment. My experience alongside my degree in advertising strategy and planning from this prestigious university should give me the opportunity in securing my long-time ambitious prospect of becoming an account manager. Why an account manager? Account managers serve as a link between their employers and the specific accounts, customers they've been assigned to handle. They listen carefully to clients' needs and figure out ways to achieve these objectives. It's a problem that occurs, say a delivery mix-up or that something that doesn't quite meet the client's demands. Account managements work with the appropriate people with the company to resolve these situations. And whenever a customer is unhappy, they go back and have that conversation. So it involves a lot of personal relationship building over a period of time, and a certain level of empathy to see where the customer is coming from, but also to work with your team members to make sure that they're happy. It's probably the strongest word I would use is probably a really decent middleman. Within my role as student experience officer, and eventually when I progress to an account manager, I'd almost at the end hopefully want to be a director of marketing and admissions. So I'd like to be in charge of the whole system and what that involves in recruiting students to the college or wherever I move on to work for in the future. So I do have a 5-year plan, believe it or not, after going on. I am currently a student experience officer, but I'd like to become a coordinator. I'd like to advance and hopefully become an account manager, like I said before. And to finish it all off, I'd like to own my own business and actually, hire my own director of marketing and admissions. I'd like to participate in different activities. I like to cover a lot. Just because I've worked in customer service for over, I say probably over about 8 to 9 years now, I feel like the customer is the main focus, and anything to make their lives a lot easier makes me feel really good. I'm very passionate about delivering excellent customer service, and yeah, to own my own business would be good. Probably a marketing agency at some point in my life. There's so many other ideas that I have in this big old head, but hopefully we can learn that as the future goes on. A statement on my single most important takeaway from my master's in advertising strategy and planning: critical thinking. Commas. I think it's very important. It gives you a better insight into understanding your target audience. By target audience, I mean the students. To be able to critically think, to understand what the problem is and how you can provide solutions, not only for the immediate time being, but for the future. What you can do for businesses, how you can understand where the different team members are facing those issues and how you can resolve them in the future. I think that's very important. The other aspect of critical thinking is doing research, understanding how you can take in that research and apply it to different situations. I'll give you an example. Initially, we had an issue where students weren't getting all the information in one situation through their emails. So, me and my members of staff, we all had a conversation. We thought, actually, let's use social channels. Our target audience, that is the students, they don't always just read their emails. They go on social media, they go on TikTok, they go on Instagram, they go on Facebook in some situations. And how can we use those platforms to get to our end users? So by TikTok, we know that it's only like a 5-second video. We adapted that. We used students to create their own user-generated content. So we had a day out where our student ambassadors went around the university and gave us a campus tour. We've had webinars where we've had virtual tours of the actual university and the city, which gives people a greater insight into actually what Plymouth and the city is about. So really increasing that value proposition towards our target audience. I think that's my most important takeaway from this MA in Advertising Strategy and Planning. Thank you so much for joining me during this presentation. It has been such an exciting 2 years. Obviously, there has been an intermittent break in between due to the pandemic, unfortunately, and the challenges that's posed to me, personally over the last few months. But I feel that I've come back, and with the support of the program leader, Amber, thank you so much, Amber. I'm sure you're watching this. I wouldn't have been able to achieve my dream of achieving an MA in Advertising Strategy and Planning. I've really enjoyed my major projects. I've really enjoyed making this presentation. And yeah, I hope to interact with you sometime in the future. Thank you very much. Toby Joseph Johnson signing off.